you made the statement that black people can't be racist. First of all, do you believe that?
Yeah. Black people cannot be racist. Racism is an institution. It's not a feeling. It's not a word. So black people cannot be racist because there is nothing that black people can do that will put white people on a lower level than them. Okay. And that's what racism is. Racism is a system that's going to disenfranchise you. It's going to take away opportunities from you. Black people cannot do that to white people in this country. All over I'm not even going to say in this country, all over the world, that's not going to be a thing.
If a black person went outside and saw a white person there and called him a cracker, would that make him racist?
No. Cracker is not dehumanizing. There is not one word that a black person can call a white person that's dehumanizing.
Black people cannot be racist. Here's why. The word ism means system, yet nowhere in the definition of racism itself does the word system exist. That was on purpose, so we don't acknowledge racism for the larger system that it actually is. Racism cannot be exercised without power, which should also be in all of the definitions. The word race itself was made up by racist white people in the 16th century to categorize and oppress people. That was the only reason it was created, and therefore race is not real, and even more so, individual racism isn't real. White people have created all these different definitions of racism so they can inject themselves and absolve themselves of the responsibility they hold in upholding racism. A hate crime is just that, a hate crime. Sure, it can be racially motivated, but an individual act of hate does not constitute a larger system of oppressing people, and therefore is not racism or racist. The word ist means a follower of a practice or system. Black people cannot follow a system of racism, a word and tool created by white people for the purpose of white supremacy. Even if a white person were to go into an all-black town and be denied jobs or service, that still wouldn't be racism, that would be discrimination. Because that town exists in a larger system where white people still hold the power dynamic. That white person can go anywhere else in the world and exercise their privilege of being in proximity to their whiteness. Whereas everybody in this town who discriminated against this person cannot, they are restricted to this area. Even now that is not happening. When have black people ever been the minority in Africa? When have they ever been marginalized? Never. Yet the entire continent has had huge repercussions from racism, colonialism, and apartheid. South Africa is the perfect example of this. White people in South Africa get paid 3 times more than black South Africans. The 6% white population in Africa owns majority of the businesses. There's a literal whites-only town in Africa right now. Nowhere in the world are black people clearing out white neighborhoods to make their own town. And the same thing is happening in Mexico. So when I say black people cannot be racist, I mean black people cannot be racist anywhere. Because the definition is incorrect and biased by design, and we need to start looking at racism for the larger system that it actually is, instead of the individual acts that it claims to be.
For the 3 Muslim women
attacked in Cathedral Square. 2 women are charged with hate crimes after investigators say they beat up a group of Muslim women because of the way they look.
As Fox 6's Ashley Sears explains, the victim's attorney says this was unprovoked.
I think they're still having a hard time processing what took place.
It was supposed to be a time to relax, but an evening in Cathedral Square turned out to be anything but.
Nobody expects to go to a park and be attacked for no reason.
Munjid Ahmad is the attorney for the 3 Muslim women who say they were attacked in the Milwaukee Park Sunday.
The only basis that anyone can come up with is that they were attacked because of the way they looked.
Investigators say Miracle Reed and Peyton Smith immediately became hostile toward the women who were wearing hijabs.
Would stand up and yell, "We're uncomfortable, we're aggressive."
Eventually sitting next to the women at a picnic table, saying there was a problem, asking, "Where are you from?"
And as soon as she asked, "Are you ready?" That's when the assault began.
Investigators say it happened for about 5 minutes, and a sheriff's deputy arrived as Reed and Smith were walking away with about 10 children. The victims were taken to the hospital with black eyes, bruising, and a broken nose.
We believe that what happened really because Islamophobia.
Salah Sarsour is the president of the Islamic Society of Milwaukee.
It hurts the entire, not only Muslim community, the entire society when it happened.
The victims are working to heal, looking for justice in return.
We just don't want this to happen again.
Ashley Sears reporting the women face felony and misdemeanor charges, including substantial battery, all of the charges have hate crime enhancers.
You never need any form of structural power to be racist. You don't need to vote somebody into office to be racist. You yourself don't have to have money to be racist. You don't have to have a job to be racist. You don't have to be poor to be racist. You don't have to have a dog to be racist. You don't have to have a full family to be racist. All you need to be racist is the thought and the action, and that goes strong for everybody, not just the whites, not just the people who are lighter and mixed. It's for everybody. I know in a lot of people's minds, they want to believe that they're untouchable and they will always be perceived as victims 24/7 until their dying days. But the sad reality is you can find examples of black people specifically being racist to other individuals who are not black. And even funnier, you have black people being racist to black people. And the amount of people who will hear me say that and will say, stop the tap dancing, stop trying to have a white audience, stop lying on black people, is the dumbest shit possible.
I think black people can be racist. We have no systemic power to be racist.
The definition of racism is prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against a person or people on the bias of their membership in a particular racial or ethnic group. For instance, if I hate all Asians or make slurs against Asian people based on my experience with one Asian that was bad, I'm racist against Asians. Or if an Asian guy has a bad experience with a black guy and now he classifies all of them as thugs, he's racist against black people. Everybody can be racist. Even black people can be racist towards white people. If I go up to a white dude right now with full anger in my heart and call him a damn cum cricket or something like that, I'm racist. And then a lot of black people like to use this a term where we can't be racist, but we can be prejudiced as hell. Y'all took that one line from Nick Cannon and ran with it. And a lot of you black activists like to use this term to gain superiority over a lot of other people that aren't black, while simultaneously victimizing yourself along the way.
Because we all have the same technology, the same social medias, the same stupid things we all see on the news. You cannot craft me an argument that makes sense to tell me a black person cannot be racist when it is impossible to make that statement without sounding like a dumbass trying to excuse the bad behaviors of people because in your mind you think they're too slow to have power in any capacity. And the funniest part, you have some black people in some form of power, whether it be a school principal or a government official, who put in some rules that if a white person were to do those things, everybody would be screaming white supremacy and racist. Theater hosting performances exclusively for black audiences says white people have no standing to claim racism.
She goes by the name Hero, and she has a lot of work to do to get this Bucktown Gallery space ready to host her art exhibit this weekend. That exhibit has garnered much more attention than originally expected since the 23-year-old artist distributed these flyers around the city for the show called White Only, with a drawing of a noose.
Racism is alive and prevalent today as much as we want to act like it doesn't exist.
And you live it every day.
I live it every single day.
Some critics have complained the flyers suggest they come from white supremacists or some other hate group.
I believe that people should understand what a noose on anything would represent. And, you know, it represents the blood of my ancestors.
The signs contain little information, but offer a QR code which links to the show's website. There, the artist offers some explanation of her philosophy.
I can't draw a picture of a flower without it representing all of my ancestors being deflowered.
One of the prominent works in the show is a depiction of Hero and her sister when they were children, being detained and questioned by police wearing white hoods just blocks from their home. Something that is based on real experience, she says.
I think all art is supposed to invoke some type of emotion, and like that emotion shouldn't always have to be sadness or anger. Sometimes art can just be happy.
She admits that she's not apologizing for any of this. So, for this Black History Month, I believe this is the 7th day, maybe the 8th, maybe the 6th, I'm not certain. What be the case for you to understand that, unfortunately, your skewed perspective on your sisters and brothers is a little bit colorblind and you must expand it? for the necessity to understand that no matter how much you want to ride the team, your team has issues, and if not checked, will be part of the problem and are part of the problem. I understand you love being black. I do too. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. The skin color, so chocolatey. But for the love of everything holy, unholy, a little bit sexual, and certainly pink, stop telling me black people can't be racist, because it's a fucking lie. Subscribe to the channel. Goodbye.